So let's begin by looking backwards. Found a Place, it's a retrospective album.
Yeah.
And you've done it as 2 EPs rather than a straightforward single CD, single release.
Yeah.
Why the 2 EPs? What was the thought behind that?
The thought behind it really was that I think I didn't want people to confuse it with an album, you know. So it's not an album. It's not an album of new material, and well, it's not just that. But yeah, people were getting very confused, thinking, "Oh, Jay Harman's got a new album out." It's like, no, I haven't. This is just a retrospective of stuff that I've recorded years ago, stuff from the vaults that we've got that's been unreleased or maybe released in a different form, you know, previously. So, you know, it's stuff that some people may have heard before, and there's new, you know, kind of new, not new to me, but new to other people. So it's just kind of compiling, you know, a bit of a kind of history, really. But yeah, it was just that it's not an album. So I just, 2 EPs.
The EP's come back in fashion, hasn't it?
But it's really helpful to be able to have that as a medium, really, because it just means that I can put off making another album.
Well, I was going to move on to that, but since you've beaten me to it, so it's 3 years now since the last album, isn't it? I believe.
Well, it's 2 years actually. 2 years since it's released. So It was released in February 17, which is just mental. But I made it the year before that. So, it's been a while.
So what are the plans for a new release of new material?
So I'm writing very tentatively at the moment, and that's kind of it, really. I'm just not putting a lot of pressure on myself, and I probably need to put a bit more pressure on myself to do it. You know, because I'm not really a prolific writer. You know, what I find writing really emotionally taxing because it's really important to me. It's always really sincere and honest, you know, so it comes from a place of kind of real feelings and all that. So I do find it a bit taxing. So, you know, and I'm just not a prolific writer, but the songs that I do write are all of a certain quality and, you know, of a certain sincerity. So, you know, it's an interesting process, you know.
Do you write on your own or do you write with the band?
Various different ways, really. So I write on my own. I may just sit at the piano and write, which is what I've, you know, loads of songs.
I suppose the song dictates, doesn't it, what you want to do with it or how you're going to arrange it?
Yeah, totally. So I'll either write by myself or I'll co-write. I have a really kind of small trusted circle of co-writers, really, which is a guy called Mike Davies, who co-wrote 5 of the tunes with me on the second album, On People We Become, and then probably about 5 or 6 with me on the first album, and he produced that as well. So he's been a really important part of the cog, and he's just an incredible musician, amazing writer, brilliant guy, and just, it's been really wonderful working with him, and we'll continue to do that because, you know, we've got a great working relationship. And then another guy called Terry Lewis, who's a good friend of mine, fantastic musician. He plays in a band called Mama's Gun and does all kinds of, you know, wonderful musician sideman touring. And so him and you know, maybe 1 or 2 others, but it's just a little kind of co-writing circle, and I only like to co-write with 1 other person at a time. You know, I'm not one of these people that likes to go into a room of, you know, 4 or 5 people and write a song. That's not me at all. So it's a really kind of personal experience.
How did you select the songs for Found a Place? Was it just literally going through and listening to
just
thousands of old...
listening to old...
we did this and we did that.
Just listening to the vaults and what we had in it and what worked together, and the sequence of stuff, and what we thought was the best quality, and what we thought worked together well as a kind of whole as well. That's it really.
I had you, when I first started hearing your name out, you were firmly in what I would call the blues scene, and that's where you seem to do a lot of your gigs, and obviously it's a great home for you. But I would say you've broadened that church now. And whenever I hear reference to your voice, it's blues stroke soul or soulful blues, or it's like you're moving more in the soul direction. And interestingly, looking at the tracks that you've covered, perhaps should we say on the Found a Place retrospective, there's some interesting choices on there that are not songs that you'd associate with the blues. Is that been a deliberate sort of journey for you to take you away from blues, or is it just what's coming naturally out of you?
I don't think, to be honest, I was ever really a blues singer or a blues artist. I never was. I just kind of got adopted by the blues community, really, who have been absolutely amazing and really supportive and brilliant. And there's a guy called Dave Raven, who sadly recently passed away. He had a radio show that was very well respected, and he kind of picked up on my song Sweet Man Moses, which is a gospel song, basically, kind of gospel, bluesy, soulfully kind of stuff. And from there, the blues community just kind of adopted me. But from that point, I was never a blues singer, really. But I kind of got labelled with this blues label. But I'm really a soul singer, and I always have been. And even in the really early days of exploring and writing and stuff, I was always a soul singer and wanting to tell my story. So. I say soul singer, I'm not really an out-and-out anything. It's just a mixture of lots of different influences. And then, kind of got picked up by the blues scene. But I never changed what I did to suit that or changed what I did to suit anyone else. I just do what I do, and that's it, really. Everything for me is about the song, it's just about great songs.
Warm as the daylight on the roses. Dry your eyes, but not be done. We have forgiven. Oh, brother, be strong. Water and let your sorrow out. Temptation pleads for victory, but your trouble will have.
How did the duet with Michael McDonald come about?
Oh, well, I was making the album in Nashville.
Because the soul singers go.
Yeah, he's pretty up there, isn't he?
He's pretty up there.
Oh, God, yeah. So I'd always been a bit of a fan, and I had covered one of his songs called I Can Let Go Now, and I recorded it. And when I was making the album in Nashville, my producer, a wonderful, talented man called Fred Mollen, he's worked with, just everybody under the sun, really, and he's good friends with Michael. And he said, "Oh, I'm going to send this recording to Michael." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, nice." Anyway, and then
not expecting to hear that.
Yeah,
that'll be the last we ever hear of that.
Yeah, exactly. And Michael sent me this incredible email, just saying some really, really wonderful things, and then before I knew it, he was coming to sing backing vocals on one of my tracks for the album. So. He's on my record, which is just mind-blowing. Yeah.
When young, it was all so easy then. And when we were young, we were never ever spent. But I always knew from the sense that I got that we would fall through from this net up above.
say that music has definitely been a calling for you?
Yeah, I mean, well,
You've
I
had some...
I don't know what else I'd do with my life,
Yeah.
quite frankly, but it's definitely been a calling for me. You know, it's not been a straight line. You know, I've been a musician since I was, 8 years old, and
Yeah, you played the bassoon.
yeah, I did. Yeah, I did the classical music thing for a very long time. I know, it's hilarious, isn't it? It's so funny. Absolutely kind of ground my parents down. I want to play the bassoon, when I was 8. And they finally relented. And so I did I was really involved in classical music.
And then when you went, I don't want to play the bassoon anymore, I was like,
Yeah. Oh, actually.
Every kid goes through instruments, don't they?
Well, I played it for a long time, and I've still got my bassoon, and it's a beautiful, beautiful instrument. But yeah, I think it wasn't.
I think
something...
you should get the bassoon. Kyla Brox plays flute on stage, doesn't she? Which is
flute, bassoon.
Yeah, okay, I know.
Quite the same.
Come on, push that envelope.
I'm sorry, Kyla, but I hate flautists. They just remind me of turning up to orchestra rehearsals, and me kind of lugging around my bassoon all day, and really heavy, and just it being such a pain in the arse. And finally turning up to orchestra rehearsal, and it takes you 15 minutes to put the bloody thing together, and just and then these flautists come in with their backpack, take their flute out of their backpack and just go beep beep beep, it's fuck off. I hate you.
I hate the piccolo player.
Piccolo, flute, I hate them all.
He's just got it in his pocket.
Yeah, it really upsets me. I'm very resentful actually about it. Yeah, and being told that I play an instrument that sounds like a fart.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
It's your fault for picking it.
I know, it's totally my fault. The only reason is because I'm just desperate. I just always wanted to be different. Just always wanted to be different. And I didn't want to follow the crowd. I didn't want to do what everyone else is doing. I just wanted to do my own thing. And so for me, it was like the most unique instrument I could have picked. I was so allergic to following the crowd that's kind of what I wanted to do.
But you found your calling. You found what you want to do. And albeit you write quite slowly.
Yeah.
You're doing what you want to do, and it's great.
Doing what I want to do, and it's given me a career, and I've got a wonderful career, and there's no pressure. It's all under my own terms, and I just have a great time, and I'm really lucky to do it. And I honestly, I don't know what else I would do with my life. Quite frankly, I'd probably be in a field growing vegetables somewhere, maybe. Which I can still do, and I probably will do.
Yeah, that's always ahead of you. Should you need it? Let's hope you don't.
Yeah. Keeping bees and growing vegetables, which I do feel like is one of my callings.
Well, make sure you get the third album, the elusive third album out.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
If I disappear in the night, you'll find me where I lay my love on the line. Anger, red as the sky, took me looking